Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan from weatherwatch.co.nz with your weekend weather update and the outlook for next week across New Zealand, Australia and the South Pacific. And we've got a significant system next week in the New Zealand area coming out of Australia. Plus we've got another storm system before that coming through around Sunday, Monday. So we've got a lot to talk about, but we kick off on the animated wind map with very little going on. A big powerful high coming in across New Zealand, bringing frosty weather, was -3 and dipped in Southland this morning. And we saw -5s and -6s up through the Southern Alps, around Tekapo and places like that. So a cold morning and cold again tonight as that system moves through. But all eyes are on this low pressure zone up here, exiting the Coral Sea and coming into the Tasman Sea, and that's going to rapidly deepen as it drops southwards over the weekend and Monday. And speaking of Monday and next week, that's when a storm system from the southern part of Australia moves through, works in tandem with that system, and we have significant weather coming into New Zealand on Wednesday. So let's take a look and see what's going on. We kick off first of all with this Australian map, rainfall for the next 5 days ahead. Just wanted to quickly point out over 100 millimetres coming over there for Western Australia, and the other set of rain coming in for Victoria around the mountains and ranges with another 50-60 millimetres coming through for you there. But here is the forecast for Saturday. We've got that low pressure zone in the Tasman, and that is just about to start rapidly deepening as the high over New Zealand sort of moves away and allows it to drop southwards. So that's the main feature, that low there. On Sunday, you notice how it deepens, fills up the Tasman Sea now, and the high over New Zealand moves further out. Now, the placement of that high means that air flows from around Tahiti and Tonga and Fiji will start to feed down into the New Zealand area, but will also feed into that low and deepen it. So we're going to see that low rapidly deepening. And on the other side, we've got that storm system as well, which is just getting started. So this is the rainfall in New Zealand, 3 days from Sunday morning. And what you'll notice is heavy rain around the top of the North Island. Now that's good news for Waikato and Auckland in drought. There'll be around 40 or 50 millimetres at this stage. That's what we're forecasting, and that could still change a wee bit. And we've got heavier falls over here in Bay of Plenty, but the bulk of the rain around the Nelson Ranges and further down the west coast, where over 150 millimetres is possible, maybe even 250 millimetres, and that could lead to some slips and flooding. But in true nor'west autumn style, this corner down here, fairly dry, not much rain at all on the way for you, at least not to begin with. So here we are on Monday. Now this storm system here, quite significant. Now the worst of the winds, thankfully, are right here, right next to the centre. They're not spread out quite so much. So if this storm drops straight southwards like that and doesn't actually hit the country, we'll just have blustery nor'westers around the outer edges of it. That won't be so problematic, but it's definitely one to keep an eye on. That is very low air pressure. And then you've got the rain bands as well, mostly coming into the northern and western parts of the country. So that is a significant system. On the animated wind map, you start to notice it's got a bit of a pink shading showing up. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it certainly looks a little bit pinker in that area. And what that means is the air pressure is getting down to storm levels, you know, really what we would see with a tropical cyclone, that kind of level. So this is one to keep an eye on. Like I say, on Monday, it doesn't look too bad just yet, but it is very close, that storm system. Now by Tuesday, it's dropped southwards. So it doesn't actually, based on the modelling today, it doesn't actually directly hit New Zealand, but the windy weather on the side of it certainly does. And on Tuesday, it's another warm, windy day across the country. There'll be places in the east where it's sunny and lovely. You won't even think it's a storm. But this system's building. By the way, Victoria, Tasmania, winter weather on Tuesday. Look at this southerly coming in. Severe gales, very cold. Well, colder than it's been, that's for sure. So a bit of a stormy Tuesday on the way for you. But then that storm comes to New Zealand on Wednesday, and the air pressure, 962. Very rare that you see a storm that low in the New Zealand area. You do see them down here in the Southern Ocean, and you do see them up here in the tropics, but pretty rare that they get into the 960 range as they come into New Zealand. That means severe winds all the way up to the North Island, very heavy rain on the west coast, snow, thunderstorms, severe swells, pretty much everything. Classic autumn storm coming through for us. So this is a significant system to keep an eye on next week. We still need a few more days to lock it in. Met Service will take a few more days to put in the severe weather warnings, so we'll be seeing those probably showing up maybe on Sunday or Monday. So that's worth keeping an eye out for. But next week, a busy week weather-wise in the New Zealand area. Last thing I want to show you, we talked about the pink shading. This is it on Wednesday, lunchtime Wednesday. So we normally see storms like this, low pressure zones like that, way down here in the Southern Ocean. This one is deepening up here, and like I say, typical for this time of the year. But this is definitely one to keep an eye on. Monday to Wednesday, in particular next week in the New Zealand area. That is all from me. Have a great weekend. Sorry about the tropical islands. I didn't talk much about you, but the weather is pretty settled up there at the moment. It's not too stormy. That is all from me. We'll see you again on Monday with a next update on all this stormy weather that's on its way. Have a good weekend.